All right, Rob Font, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me on, man.
A few things changed since what was it, 4 months ago when you were on?
Yeah. My rankings changed. Finally got that main event under my belt. I feel like we passed that test with flying colors, and yeah, now we're back on the show again. Thanks for having me on.
No worries, man. Dude, it's a pleasure to have you on. And I love having you guys coming up and then getting these big wins like this and having you back on the show after that. You just
Hell
beat
yeah.
Cody Garbrandt. Dude, how does that feel? A former world champion.
Yeah, it feels great, man. We all obviously always had our eyes on this guy. We want exactly what he had. He had that belt. We always wanted it. I feel again, big win over him. You can't deny me. I'm definitely in that conversation for sure.
Yeah, you were so composed. And, it's like I was trying to figure out what happened. I like Cody. I'm a friend of Cody's. I love his style. He was a great fighter. And then, he obviously didn't look himself in the fight. And so people are wondering, like, did something happen? Is he sick? Was it coronavirus? Did he not come out right? So I rewatched the fight and saw that he did come out right. He came out. He took the center of the cage. He was aggressive. He was throwing kicks. I think the kick was the first thing that he threw.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, it must have been that punch, that punch in the middle of the first round that really like slowed him down. And then I watched it one more time, and I think, it's my opinion, I'll get your opinion, I think you slowed him down from your composure and pressure because
Yeah.
he completely changed from being aggressive and probably confident to being more insecure and defensive before that punch even landed. And then that obviously made another big difference. But your composure, you look so like confident and composed, and like your hands were up and you were pressing forward, and like he went from pressuring you to backing up before that punch even landed.
Yeah, nah, it's yeah, he definitely felt the pressure. I definitely thought, he landed one decent shot, and then when he realized I wasn't going anywhere,
Yeah.
it kind of helped. Like, wait a minute, hold up. And then once we have him shooting on us, we have him. Like, once we get him out of his element and trying to be that over technical, mixed martial artist that try to like mix it up, and it sounds all good on paper, but that's not really him. We knew we got him out of his game plan, and for sure, he shot that first takedown, he got it, and I could feel he wasn't really trying to like advance position. It was almost like he accidentally got the takedown. He didn't really want to shoot. He just did it reactionally, and then I can feel him on top, just like, let me just like hold him here for a second, then look for more damage. He wasn't trying to pass. He wasn't trying to improve position. So again, it felt like it was an accidental takedown. And then from there, I think he realized he could take me down, and then he did it again. But from that, after the second takedown, I kind of had him in that Kimura scenario. I think he kind of like got a little tired and realized he didn't want to take it to the ground either. So it was kind of like, he definitely knew, the ground was there, but he didn't really want to take it to the ground and hold me there too much. And then I think like when he feels like, I don't think people realize how long I am, and when they feel the jab, they're like, wait, hold up, this is different. Like, I hurt guys on the regular with jabs in the gym, and I knew he wasn't going to be able to get past that length, even if he was technically supposed to be faster than me. Like, I knew there's no way if I'm on and I'm behind a jab, he's not getting in between it. And again, I'm not trying to brag, but I do this with 45ers and 55ers on the regular.
And you had that cross and the uppercut. I was talking to Coach Tyson. I'm going to have him on the podcast, actually. He's going to come on after my next guest. And he said you were training with pro boxers for this fight. So that obviously probably had a huge difference because your boxing was fantastic.
Yeah, so we're fortunate enough to kind of like be able to reach out and use a lot of pro boxers that are out here in the Northeast and in Boston, and obviously in Boston it's a huge boxing community, so we get to use and spar with these guys on the regular. So there's not much I haven't seen as far as the boxing, and again, it's not like just because of this camp. We do this every camp. We have one day of just pure boxing and then one day of just more of a mixed martial arts up and down type of a day of sparring. And again, like I said, I'm in there hanging with some of these boxers to the point where like people believe I've been boxing all my life, and it's just, I think it's just natural like rhythm and timing, and then obviously, I have a solid jab, so like people automatically assume that I'm a boxer.
Yeah, and you were so composed, and when you were on the ground, you were composed too. That was another thing. Like, what changed? Because like you've always been good and somewhat composed, but like this was different. Like you looked completely different in this fight, and even when you got taken down, you weren't worried at all, and like you were completely confident, even when he was on top, even when he was moving around, and then you would eventually get up.
I could just feel like he didn't really want to like take it there, you know. I could just feel it. People forget that I actually started off in a jiu-jitsu school, you know what I'm saying? So naturally, I'm pretty comfortable on the ground. Not the best wrestler, you know what I'm saying? I got to start obviously stopping these takedowns, but I'm pretty comfortable on the ground. You know, I started from a jiu-jitsu class and I naturally turned into a striker. So I think, you know, once it gets to the ground, I'm composed. I know, you know, I know there's a process of getting out. I know the process of getting out of any submission. I know the process of just stepping up. And as long as I get those grips in certain positions, I know eventually I'm going to get up. You know, I've been put on my back all my career, so it's kind of like that's what I'm used to. I'm used to getting taken out and getting back up and then pushing the pace from there. And I think when guys do get a takedown and then I do get back up and I instantly start pushing the pace, it kind of like it wears on them a little bit. And I think that just too, like the fact that I had him backing up the whole time, definitely mentally wore him on him as well.
Did you work anything for speed? Because like it's one thing, like I mean, Cody gets into brawls, but like hitting him, you know, outside of range, coming in and landing the punches you were landing, and he wasn't seeing them coming, and it was just rocking him back like that. That was surprising to me. Like I would think it'd be really hard to hit Cody from distance. Like, you know, on the inside, when you're swinging wild, of course something's going to land. You over and over again landed from distance, came in, landed, moved back out, came in, landed, moved back out. He never saw him coming.
Yeah, I think with as far as speed, we try to stay super relaxed and super loose. You know, we try to we think about flicking and whipping the punches out instead of just trying to like punching through people. You know, and again, I give that to boxing. You know, it's always just a big whip. And timing, you know, and knowing my range as well. Like we have that A gap, B gap, and I'm sorry, A range, C range, and A, B, and C range, and I stayed on that C range the whole time. And the moment he even thought about getting to that the A or B, I would shoot my punches, either come forward or take a step back. And so the whole time he was at my range the whole time. So, you know, I was in control with it from the beginning, just by the footwork and being in a better position, and then. Again, I have the longer reach, so like he technically probably is a lot faster than me, but with the timing and being in the right position at the whole time, like it makes it look like I'm always beating him to the punch. But if we had a go, I'm guaranteed he's probably like a lot faster than me. If we had a race or whatever, but being in the right position, using my length and just, you know, consistently always being there over 3 rounds, there's no way he was going to be able to catch up to that.
And it wasn't a race, so like you were looking faster than him in the right, you know, doing the right thing, punching him in the face. You know, that's where it counts anyway. So like even if he can be in a race or whatever else, it didn't matter in there. And another thing that was big, I think, for you was. You know, he would hit you. He did land on you some decent times. So I got two questions for you. First of all, I mean, how was his power? You know, how was his power when he landed a couple of those big shots? And going on that further, when he landed, you didn't react, and I think that caused him to be more insecure because he's used to getting a reaction with those punches. So first, I want to ask you if they were powerful, and then second, did any hurt you? Were you ever in any trouble? Did any hit you where you were like kind of shook a little bit?
He had me. I believe it was like he hurt me with something coming up. I forgot what it was. It might have been a kick.
He kicked you. He kicked you when you were coming up off the cage.
Coming up, he hit me with something. I was like, and it just like I got the ring, and like, oh, here we go. Yeah. Just slow it down, calm down.
You still didn't react though.
Like, nah, he didn't. I felt like I knew I was hurt, but I just wanted to keep it calm, and just start feinting again. Like my whole thing was, if I get hurt, just start feinting. Don't start punching. Start feinting with this guy. You can't go at it with this guy, you know. And you know, I think that's another thing too. Like I never gave him that shot of like just exchanging big shots with him, you know. But he definitely, the power is still there, the speed was still there. I think it was more of me just being a lot more disciplined than him, and then again, just never really being in that shot where he can land a big shots, like in that we call that B range where anything can go. You know, we're either all the way in or all the way out, and in that B range where, you know, saying like I think in the 5th round he kind of like came in. That's where his obviously he does his best work, and like we just never really was there for him to go. But definitely speed was there, the power was there. And again, like I just knew not to get hit by it, you know, not to give him that shot, because again, like that guy, he can finish a fight with both hands at any time he wants.
I mean, I think it was like 180 significant strikes to 60. You were like 3 times as much on significant strikes. So you obviously knew throughout the fight you were doing good. All right, fellas, you want to help the podcast? Here is your opportunity. You can save 20% now and get free shipping on the best below-the-waist men's grooming products on the market by going to manscaped.com, manscaped.com. Today, use code QUICK. That's my nickname, not how you use the product. And you get 20% off, free shipping. It's a win-win for everyone. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, and now they're available in Europe, Canada, and Australia. And yes, I actually use these products. I'm getting more shipped right now. I got the Manscaped bag here, got the preserver, got the reviver, the crop mop, a whole bag of crop mops, and they even give you this. So you can actually use Manscaped to manscape your eyebrows and your toes. Huh? It's like the best. It is everything you need to appeal to your lady friend. So, don't thank me. Thank yourself for going to manscaped.com, entering code QUICK, and getting your order at 20% off discount and free shipping. Before the fight, when you were looking at Cody and you were expecting to fight this guy and obviously preparing, what was different and when did it change? Like what were you expecting that didn't happen or that maybe you did better at? And then throughout the fight, as you kept doing better and better and better, how did that feel? Like what were you thinking as that happened? Was that exactly what you expected, or was it something like you expected more of a hard fight? Or
Yeah, no, we planned on wrestling a lot. We definitely we were planning on trying to take him down a little earlier, but it wasn't there. We got a takedown off a couple of kicks and a body lock, but it was like we planned on slowing him down just a little bit. And but once we saw him shooting on us, we were like, oh wait, we have him. Like we know, like he's definitely trying to like switch it up and not really just get out there and fight. And but then when I felt him on top, it was just to hold the position. It wasn't, you could tell he wasn't really trying to advance or anything like that. I figured he was going to keep shooting. He definitely stopped, and then I was definitely surprised on how fast he got tired.
Yeah.
I was definitely, that's one thing that I think once I felt that, my confidence just went through the roof. Like, there's no way this, because and I'm not trying to like brag. It was not. I wasn't even close to getting tired. Like it was just like, and again, obviously that's because I was in control the whole time, and I wasn't taking that much damage too. So like that's a lot easier to be, not to get tired when you're in control the whole time. But like even when he took me down, it was like, I can tell he really didn't want to be there. It was like an accident. It was on accident. It was more of a reaction. Like I believe I heard him with a shot, and I just rushed in. He just timed the takedown perfectly, and then I mean I think it went smooth. There's not much that he threw that we didn't expect. We knew he would wrestle. We just didn't know when. We knew he would throw that little like karate sweeping kick that he does, and he did that. And then obviously the big thing was to stay away from that left hook, and obviously the right hand and the overhand. And I think we nullified it with the jab and the length, and never really sat there in that pocket for him to land those big punches.
Do you know if that counted as a takedown when you grabbed his foot and kicked it? And I mean, that should count as a takedown when he fell down, when you grabbed his leg.
I think so.
Because I know he's not been taken down a lot.
But I'm gonna count it.
Yeah, because I know he's not been taken down a lot, and I think you should get credit for that because, I mean, that you caused him to go to his back, whether you're grabbing one leg, a single leg, spinning him, a double leg, or clinching. I mean, you're still making him go on his back, So I think you should have got that as a takedown.
I'm gonna count it as a takedown.
Yeah, I'm counting with you because definitely he definitely hit his back on there. When the fight was over. And they were about to read the scorecards and declare the winner. What were you thinking? Like, did you think you won so dominantly and won every round, or did you think you may have lost a couple rounds? Like what was in your head?
I couldn't tell if I won the first round or not. I knew from the second on I definitely won all the rounds, but I wasn't sure about the first, and I was a little questioned about the fifth round. But saying as they were reading it, I was just worried. I just knew I won. I just didn't know how close it was.
Yeah.
But I can tell, like, by his body language. I can tell by his corners how desperate their voices sounded. Like I knew I was winning. And then I could also feel like how they seemed unorganized. You know what I'm saying? Like one guy was screaming one thing, this guy was screaming that thing, and it was just like there were so many names that were getting shot out. Like I felt almost bad for him. Like this kid, he doesn't know what he's doing. They're just making shit up now. Like
Yeah.
yeah, there's no like process. There's no like legit. They're not confident in anything. Like he's not confident in anything he's throwing out, and I can tell the corner they're just guessing. Like, oh, just try this, try that, and one, like I said, Mark Henry was on one page, the other guy wasn't. It was just like, oh man, it's just stay on point, keep your head down, because if the only way this guy has a chance is obviously not by knocking me out, and then I think another thing was like as he got tired, and I can hear them just kind of like cheerleading him on. Like they weren't giving him any like real like advice. They were just like trying to like boost him up and get him going again. Like, he's
Get him
done.
fired
Like
up.
not necessarily done, but like I know I got him. Like I got him. Like I know I just got to be sharp and not get caught with anything crazy. But that's a sign of a loser, not a loser, but somebody losing a fight.
A fight for sure. Yeah, they wanted him to go back to his brawling and how he can get someone knocked out.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I think if you were worried about the first and the fifth round, it must have been a little nerve-wracking considering the judging these days. And you're fighting a former world champion. You're fighting someone so popular like Cody. Where naturally the judges know him a lot more than they know you. It's very likely if they thought he won the first and fifth and was questionable about any other rounds, they could have possibly so you had to have been a little bit nervous. It must have been a nice relief when they said you won, and it must have been a great feeling.
Yeah, no, it's always tough, man. Especially when you leave it to the judges. You don't really necessarily finish the fights. It's like you never know what's going on. You never know what they're looking at. And again, like I said, like hearing his corner, like you would have sworn I was getting destroyed. Like the way how that place was quiet and it seemed pretty loud with the way they were screaming. So that could play into how the judges score these rounds, but at the time, wasn't too worried at first. I just couldn't tell. Like, I know when I went back, I was like, hey, we good, right? I looked at my corner, like, we're good, right? And I was like, yeah, like 100%. And I was like, all right, perfect. So then I just kind of relaxed. But I definitely wasn't sure about those rounds. And then it got to the point where I wasn't sure what round we were in. Like, I just couldn't tell. That's the only thing that was weird. Like, I couldn't tell what round we were. Like, what round are we in?
Yeah.
And then, like, he was like, oh, this is the third round. But it felt like I was going forever. But I wasn't tired. It just felt like I was fighting for so long, and it was only the third round. And once you got to the fourth and fifth round, only round I really knew what we were, it was obviously the fifth round. Like, all right, it's the last round. Stay sharp, stay on point. He's gonna come hard for the next 2 minutes, and then after that, but I just couldn't tell. Like, which is maybe a good thing. I was so in the zone, like in the moment, that I couldn't tell how long I've been going, or how long I got left, or if. I just knew I was winning, if that made sense. I felt like I was winning. I knew that, but I couldn't tell like what round it was, how long it was going, and what really was working.
Yeah, just so you know, I love Cody. I mean, I'm a big fan of his and friend of his as well. But I had you in every round. So, and the reason being is I don't believe if someone just gets a takedown and it doesn't cause a lot of damage, it should be looked upon so big as it does. Like the judges put a lot of emphasis on takedowns, and if you're landing punches and you're blasting him in the face, and he's getting rocked and getting backed up, that's so much more, much more damage to me than just getting taken down and nothing happening down there. And like I think the 180 significant strikes to 60 backs me on that, because he obviously took more damage. So that's why I think you won every round. I didn't count the takedowns as very much, and I thought that your strikes were definitely more powerful and more damaging than the takedowns.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, because I felt like I was feeling him out a little bit in the first round, and I hit him with a right hand. I said, all right, I figured out where his range, and then I backed him up again with a double jab cross. Like that's all I could really remember. That was super clean, and after that, it was all tit for tat.
Yeah.
But hopefully, so I think the judges are coming around and seeing that as well. Like if you just take me down and you don't do much, then I don't think they're going to count it as much either. I think the sport's kind of coming around to where you got to earn that takedown and earn that damage.
They're getting a lot better. After a fight, like I don't know, for me, like I would reflect. Eventually after the fight, I would go and reflect by myself on the win, especially a big win, or you make a big improvement. I'd go. Mine were showers. I take really long showers. I just think about everything. Think about the training. Think about what I put into it. Think about the win. Think about where I'm at. Think about all this hard work. Do you reflect, and how do you do it? Like after a fight, where do you go to like kind of like absorb what you just did, which was huge?
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that. Like that's the best feeling is that shower after the W, sitting there, just wiping all the blood off you, and it feels good because you're obviously you finally got it done, but you're all jacked up, you're hurting everywhere, and again, I sit down and I think about what I know I need to fix as far as like I want to spend a little more time here on the ground. Obviously, I got to start taking these stopping these takedowns a little easier, and a little faster. And then obviously once I kind of have an idea of what I want to get right back to doing, we sit down and watch the fight, and then I'll break down. Okay, listen, this is good. We did this great, but how many things did we do bad? And once we figure that out, we focus on those, and then obviously still count the small wins. You know what I'm saying, and remind myself that I am one of the top strikers out here. I can do this, but we need to fix this X, Y, and Z, and then we break it down, and then from there we just get back into camp. I'm taking a couple more days off, just relaxing, and then we just get back to just straight, just rolling again and drilling again, and from there we'll close the gap on what exactly we did wrong in the fight.
What's up, everybody? I am here in Thailand. This is the first time I've ever been here. Been dying to come here for years. Mike Swick, he's one of the big reasons he's been trying to pull me down here. What he built down here, AKA Thailand, is incredible. There's people here from all over the world. You can train mixed martial arts here, jiu-jitsu. They have weightlifting, they have cardio, and obviously they have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I'm telling you guys, I know everybody wants to go to Thailand because Thailand's so cool, but you can't come to Thailand without coming to AKA Thailand. Come on.
Yeah, I think the big question is right now, who are you going to fight? I mean, because you got Sterling that's out, but he's going to probably fight Jan. You got Sandhagen's going to fight TJ. Jose Aldo's the only one left in the top 5 that you haven't fought that's, or can fight. And I don't see that. I don't know, for some reason, I just don't see that fight being a fight you're going to get. And then, obviously Cody's below that. You beat him. Marias is below that. You beat him. So it's kind of hard to figure out who you're going to fight, but I do think you have to be in championship mode, because if something happened, John can't fight for whatever reason, they're definitely putting you in. You're fighting Sterling for sure. So like, are you in championship mode? Are you training now differently to just in case?
So not right now. I'll probably honestly get back to it on Monday.
Yeah.
Me and my girl were just talking about, like, we definitely need to be ready for that Corey and TJ fight, just in case.
Yeah,
I don't want anything to happen, but just in case something happens, I think I need to be prepared to throw my name in there. I definitely don't want to fight backwards. That's for sure. I don't want to have to fight like a Jose Aldo or a Pedro Munoz. I wouldn't mind, getting that rematch back with Pedro Munoz and trying to, get that back. But that'd be like worst case scenario. That'd be like if I'm sitting out for another 2 years. I don't foresee that happening. I know people are throwing out Dominic Cruz's name. I don't see that either. I mean, it's a big name, but I don't think it's big enough to like risk all of it for just to fight him. Again, I don't want anything to happen to like Corey or TJ fight, but I'd be willing to jump into that. Or again, if Al's gonna be out for too long, throw me in there with Jan, see how that shakes out. We maybe get creative, throw an intern belt in there, something. But I definitely don't want to fight backwards. But I'm in a good spot, but in an awkward spot at the same time.
I mean, since Sterling and Jan are kind of on top and probably fighting next as far as the championship fight, how do you think you'll do against those guys? Like, if you fought them right now, are you ready? Like, are you ready to take this division and be a champion?
100%. I really do. I do believe the Jan fight is like a similar fight to Cody.
Yeah.
I think Aljamain's a little trickier with his length in the wrestling. As far as I do believe, those guys, the long guys, they're a little extra harder to stuff on the single legs and the body locks and stuff like that. And then Corey Sandhagen and TJ, obviously, they're high level strikers, but they also can mix it up as well. I definitely believe I can finish and win on any of these fights. They're all a little tricky, and I gotta approach them a little differently. But that's another thing. Is kind of like, I mean, like, after you beat a guy like Marias, like, it doesn't matter who it is, you're gonna fight some killers. So I'm just. My job is to get back in the gym, because it doesn't matter who they throw at me. It's going to be a tough fight.
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, Cody was behind you when you fought, I think, but a fight like that proves a lot. You know what I mean? So like even though I think he was ranked one rank behind you when you fought him, that puts you up there. You know what I mean? Like you can fight anybody at this stage. And I'm excited to see who it is.
I feel confident, man. Like not too many people go 5 rounds with Cody Garbrandt. You know?
And dominate like you did. I mean, the whole time.
And I did, and I stood there with him, and it wasn't like I was sitting there trying to like run away from him too much or take him down too much. I stood right there with him and looked him dead in the eyes and like, let's do this, and like I think another part of that, he was surprised about that. Like, well, shit, like he's not used to being in there that long, and I think that helped out a lot. That definitely helped my confidence up. Like, I am here, let's go. Like, there's no way you're getting me out of here. And I felt that, and I really believed that, and I think he felt that coming out of me to a point where there's no shit talking, there was no BS behind it. It was straight, let's see who's better, and I think that's what we saw on Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to ask you, what do you do to reset? So you had this big fight. This week you're kind of resetting, and Monday you said you're going to start training again. What do you do to kind of like after a fight to reset yourself and enjoy and relax, and like what is your thing to do?
I just hang out with the family. Honestly, I just hang out with the family. Went to the beach yesterday. I got a round of golfing when we first got back.
Nice.
Just little things like that. Eat all the little junk food I couldn't eat before. And then just spend time with the family, and then eventually we'll get back to training. I stayed away from my strength and conditioning coaches and everybody. I keep them away. I'm like, I'm not gonna call you guys for another week or two, but eventually I'll call those guys back up and we'll get back to it. But it's just take a time off without going too far into that deep end where we're partying too much or we're hanging out too much. Get a couple of days of hanging out, and then get back to it. I know what it is to win. I know what it is to lose. And, I don't want that losing feeling again. So it's kind of like, I know, it's kind of like, it starts all over. Like you go to the top, and after a W, you got to go start right back at the bottom, come and work your way all the way back up. And that's the hard part about winning. And I think I'm willing to do that, though. I don't mind starting back over and working my way all the way back up to get to that peak performance state, and then again, like I said, with being guys like Cody and Marias, the competition only gets harder. So right. I have to be better than the last time I came out, and if I'm not, these guys will take over, and you'll see it. You'll see it in the fights, and you'll see like, wow, wait a minute, something's not right, or something's off. It was because that same guy came to fight the same exact way he was last time, and I don't plan on being that guy. I want every single time you see me, like, all right, this improved, that improved, and I can tell there's a clear difference. And even if it's cardio, or even if it's the way he looks, he just looks better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want something to be so clear. Like, yeah, there's something going on in that New England area. They're doing something right.
I'm going to find out when I get Tyson on here, man, your coach. I'm going to find out what y'all are doing, man. I'm going to have him on in 2 podcasts from now. I'm going to find out.
Get out. Got to get him out. You got to get out to Thailand.
Yeah, he's gonna be my first coach other than Hav, because Javier is my coach. So I've had him on like 10 times, but he'll be my first coach outside my own. So it's gonna be cool to talk to him and see what you guys are doing. And you're serious now, man. I mean, like, you're either in a contender fight or you're in a championship fight, depending on what happens and what plays out. So you're a long way from delivering pizzas, man. Like, do you reflect on just 100%. The journey itself and just how proud you are of yourself for what you've accomplished?
100%, man. This is crazy. Like I said, like I was just, it started off with just a curiosity, and then it just turned into like this whole thing where it's like now we're getting paid to do seminars at school that I used to, at BJJ and Muay Thai schools that I used to, like, I couldn't wait to join. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a seminar set up in Tampa. And I remember driving by the school we're doing it at, and I'm like, wow, I couldn't wait to get into that school. Now it's like people are paying me to do a seminar at the school. So it's definitely a privilege. I'm soaking it all in. I from any interview to any type of media, I'm loving it, because again, I remember when nobody did want to interview me or nobody wanted to host a seminar, and I remember those days and feeling these days. It's awesome, but it's like, I know how fast this could all be, it could be over. So, like, my job is to get back in the gym, get better, so I can keep feeling this and keep hearing that, you're going to be the next champ, and people calling you champ and all that. Like, those little things, saying, like reminds me, like, okay, how hard we've been working, and you know, saying like in the future is bright, because if we just keep head down and keep working, it's only going to get better.
Yeah. And you know, I'm not a journalist, man. So I pick who I have on my show. And, you know, there's a reason I have every single guest. It's either, you know, it's going to be a good conversation, or it's going to be someone that has a fight coming up that's big, or a championship, or, you know, it's somebody that I'm looking at that I know is going to rise. And so I believed in you, man. I brought you on the show because I really believed in you. And then you just proved me right with this win over Cody. So
thank you.
Don't forget that I believed in you, man. And like when you fight for the championship, you got to get back on my show, man. Don't get all too big for me and forget about me and stuff.
100%, bro. I got you. Trust me. I got you.
Let me ask you, what is your prediction on Sterling and Jan and Sandhagen and TJ? Just give me your quick prediction on those two fights. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
I think for the Sterling Jan fight, I think it's going to be a lot closer than the last time. But I have a feeling Sterling's going to squeak this one out. I don't know why. I got a good feeling Sterling's going to squeak this one out. I think he's going to adjust, especially coming out strong in the first 2 rounds. And he's going to adjust when he shoots, when he doesn't shoot. And then as far as the TJ Sandhagen fight, I think Sandhagen's going to make it look pretty easy, honestly. I think he's probably the most dangerous guy in the division.
He's good, yeah.
As a guy, I like what he's doing. I respect what he's doing. And, you know, like, that's one of those guys I constantly have in the back of my mind. Like, this is going to be probably the toughest fight out there. So, yeah, I think Sterling's going to win that one, and then Aljamain squeaks out the decision.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, thank you so much for taking time for me, and I was excited that you had such a good performance. It's good to see somebody coming up and accomplishing their dreams and moving up. I love Cody, too. Like I said, no disrespect to him. So, I mean, I hope he heals up well and he comes back strong. But, man, I was just really proud of you for how you perform, man. I was very impressed with everything. I think you've improved in every single aspect, from your composure to your striking, your boxing, your takedowns, your takedown defense. I mean, like, you improved everywhere. And I really was impressed, man. So thanks for coming on the show and taking your time off for me.
Yeah, man. I mean, it means a lot, man. Like, cause then, especially like you said with the composure part about it, I think that was probably the biggest part for me, is kind of like staying composed and having a guy like Cody Garbrandt in front of me and not, oh shit, like freaking out or overdoing it, over trying. I think this was like that final test. Okay, I got these big names in front of me, but you know, saying don't forget you're a big name as well, you know. And I think I showed that this fight, you know, and didn't overreact when he did hit me, or didn't overreact or panic when he did take me down, and knowing that, hey, you're in a fight, this is going to happen. Just how do you deal with it?
Yeah.
I think I proved to myself, like, yeah, we're going to get hit. Yeah, we're going to get taken down. So what? You have enough time to get back up and make up for it. And it worked out perfectly, man.
I'm the longest at dragging out goodbyes. But another thing I think you had in your favor is when you come out for the weigh-in and the press conference and the stare down, you look so nice and just so like non-intimidating. And I think that has an effect, man, because when you have a guy like Cody, you know, a lot of times he's an aggressive, angry kind of fighter, and he's fighting guys like Dominic or TJ or somebody that's doing the same thing back. And I think when he saw you, even when I saw you, I was a little worried, because like he probably thought you were intimidated. He probably thought you were kind of like scared and intimidated, and this was too big of a step. So in his mind, if I was him and I saw you the way I saw you from the cameras on the outside, I would think, I got this guy, man. He's intimidated. He's scared. He's not looking me in the face, he's not ready for this level with me. And then when you went out there and you were right in his face the whole time like that, he's like, oh shit, like this guy isn't like, he's not intimidated at all. This guy wants to fight.
Yeah, it's funny that I get a lot of shit for like not, like, even when I don't know what it is. I look you in the eye, then I kind of like size. I look at your body, and I kind of size you up. I'm like looking at you, then like a lot of people are like, oh, he broke. He didn't keep this there. I'm like, it's just not me, that's just not my personality. I'm like, all right, he doesn't look that big. I kind of like size you up. I look at the shoulders, your hands. I look you up and down, and it's kind of like, that's just the way I do it. I had a couple old coaches be like, you got to stare into his eyes and take their soul. And I'm like, this feels forced. This doesn't feel right. Like, that's not me. I'm not looking to the depths of hell and trying to grab his skull and like, nah, it's not me, so I think I'm a natural cool dude. Like, it takes a lot for me to get angry. Like, you literally have to like spit in my mother's face for me to honestly be mad at you for something, so I definitely don't, I don't get mad. And then for me personally at the weigh-ins, I'm just happy that it's going down. Like, I had so many fights that got canceled. I'm like, yes, I'm happy to see you. I almost want to hug you, like, thank you. I appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
I appreciate you making the weight. I appreciate you coming here. So it's like for me, it's like a celebration almost, you know.
You just want to give him a hug.
And but yeah, I think I think it helps me, you know. Again, I think me being natural and not trying to be this tough guy that just, I guess, you're supposed to act like on weighing day, helps me naturally. You know, I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm just grateful to be there. I'm grateful that, again, I got my name on the poster now. I'm just happy, you know. I'm just happy to be there, and you know, so hopefully that works out in my favor, you know, to the point where, you know, saying guys do like actually take that into and account for that and think that I'm actually looking, you know, saying I'm looking in their eyes because I am worried about them. Like that's a big mistake, because again, like I couldn't stay still if I wanted to. If I wanted to look you dead in the eye for 10 seconds, I couldn't do it. I'm all over the place all the time anyways, you know?
Yeah. Well, a main event fight against a champion level fighter and dominating the whole thing. I mean, you're doing everything right. So I wouldn't change anything. And I only see you going higher and higher, man. I think you're going to get to the top. And I can't wait to have you back on the show when you get your next fight, which is going to be a contender fight or a championship fight. And then when you become a champion, I want to see that belt on the podcast too.
I'm going to have it on the shoulder. Trust me, I'm going to have it on the shoulder.
All right, man. Well, thanks a lot. I'll let you go this time. So I appreciate your time and look forward to talking to you next time, brother.
Thank you, man.
All right. Take care.
Real quick, with Mike Swick.